most of the time, I don't stay here in the Philippines. So, I am sent abroad. So, naka-deploy ako abroad. And since I work for a real estate company, I would meet people that would tell me about their misconceptions about real estate. So, today, we will try to debunk it. Kasi baka marami sa inyo na gusto naman mag-invest or interested in investing. Kaya lang, naririnig nyo din itong mga common misconceptions na to, tapos wala kayong mapagtanungan. So, I'll explain it for you guys. Okay, so the first misconception that I would hear, or usually sinasabi sa akin ng mga tao, is that you don't own anything, just air. That is not true. Okay, so a condominium is governed by a statute here in the Philippines, and it's called Condominium Act or Republic Act 4726. That law states that as a condominium, you own or you will be having a certificate of condominium title. So for example, you buy a property, example land. Meron ka of course titulo doon. Pag bumili ka ng condominium, you will also have a title. So technically, you don't own air. You do, however, own a real estate property with a title that you can use in the future. So, pwede mo siyang ibenta, pwede mo siyang isangla, at pwede mo siyang ipamana sa iyong future generation. The second one is that condominium is only good for 50 years. Again, that is not true. Okay, I will be reading a material that I used from way back, and then I will explain it later. So, a condominium is classified as a corporation under the Condominium Act. And you, for example, you are the buyer, you are also a shareholder of that corporation. And it simply notes that, like all corporations here in the Philippines, it has a 50-year lifespan. So, bago kayo magpanic, you have to keep in mind that this statute only applies to condemned structures. So, real estate properties no longer have to be condemned obsolete and uneconomical after 50 years because buildings are better built right now. For example, if you guys are familiar with Manila Hotel, so Manila Hotel is still operational. It has been operating for about 100 years now. So, that's, lumagpas na siya dun sa 50-year lifespan na sinasabi. Because, again, it cannot be condemned as obsolete and uneconomical kasi maayos pa naman yung building structures. Okay, there's also a clause that says that you as a stockholder or a shareholder of that corporation, you get to vote if that specific building needs to be remodeled or pwede ba siyang i-refurbish, i-renovate, and stuff like that. So, may right kayo to do that as a shareholder. So, again, guys, the 50-year lifespan of a condominium, it's not true. It actually depends on how the building is constructed at paano siya maintain ng property management. Okay. So, the third one, it is very expensive. Guys, it's not true. I would give myself as an example. Since I work for a real estate company, last year during a pandemic, I already have several properties that I bought. But last year, I bought this specific property just because pangarap ko kasing magkaroon ng property sa isang township or sa isang community, sa township development project. So last year, during a pandemic, I decided to buy another property again. Why? I am one of those few people who have seen the opportunity of buying some properties during a pandemic because, again, flexible yung payment terms niya as compared to before. So, pre-pandemic, I've been eyeing that property, kaya lang hindi ko siya afford because mas mahal siya. Hindi naman nagmura yung property, kaya lang mas naging flexible yung payment terms na na-afford ko siyang bilhin. So, right now, during this crisis, you can contact some of your friends or some people that you've seen na nagpo-post sa Facebook. Pwede nyo silang tanungin and see what the properties or what the developers are offering right now because yung payment terms ngayon are much more flexible as to compared before. So, developers are offering different discounts, different promotional payment terms, so it's easier for you guys to achieve your dream home. Again, real estate investment is not just for the rich people, it's also for us, no? As long as we are willing to commit. Okay, so the fourth common misconception is that real estate is only for the rich. Again, Guys, ako nga, hindi naman ako mayaman, pero na-afford ko naman bumili ng real estate. Again, like what I said earlier, developers now are giving much more flexible payment terms. So, flexible payment terms meaning, ini-stretch nila yung down payment period into longer years. So, pwede mo lang siyang hulug-hulugan. As the years goes by, hindi mo mamamalayan, ayan na, tapos ka na sa payment terms mo, makukuha mo na yung unit mo. Pwede nang i-turn over sa'yo. Also, majority of the people who buys real estate, hindi naman nila binabayaran ng cash. Normally, they would pay 20% of the total price and then the 80% ilo-loan nila yun sa bangko. So, also, banks right now, madali na lang mag-loan para sa home loan, especially home loan. So, banks, they approve people as long as kaya mong i-prove na meron kang monthly income. Yun lang naman ang kailangan, guys. Hindi siya para sa mayayaman lang ha, para rin siya sa ating mga ordinaryong tao. So, okay, the fifth one. Ito talaga, lagi ko talaga itong naririnig. Personally, naririnig ko to. I'm waiting for the right time. Yan yung laging sinasabi ng mga tao. Parang hindi pa ata para ngayon kasi meron pa akong pinag-aaral, meron pa akong sinusustentuhan, ganyan. Ang tanong ko, kailan yung tamang panahon? Hindi ba dapat ngayon? Ngayon, you have to think about your future now. Not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. Because right now, again, like what I said earlier, right now we are facing a crisis. So in the midst of crisis, in the midst of pandemic, there's always an opportunity for you to grab. And right now, again, the market is soft. So yung mga developers ngayon, they are offering as much as discounts, promos na pwede natin i-avail. So instead of waiting tomorrow, kasi malay natin bukas, bumalik na tayo sa pre-pandemic times, then babalik na din ang payment terms. Mahihirapan na tayong mag-avail ng property na gusto natin, or mahihirapan na tayong bumili ng dream home na matagal na natin pinapangarap. So again, now is always the best time to invest. You just have to check yourself if willing ka na ba? Willing ka na bang i-commit? Because again, it took me several years before I started investing. Kasi alam ko commitment siya. So, nag-shopping muna ako, guys. Kahit tanungin niyo yung mga friends ko, yung family ko, best in shopping ako at best in gala ako before. But when I decided to invest na, kinumit ko na yung a portion of my income to my properties because also I wanted to prepare for my future. So moving on, guys, since I've been in the industry for 7 years, you can consider me as sort of like your ate when it comes to real estate. So I have listed my personal tips and things to consider if, for example, you wanted to buy a property or if you are interested in buying a property. What are the things na kailangan mong pag-isipan or kailangan mong tignan before jumping in at bumili ka ng property? Kasi hindi siya basta-basta. It's a lifelong commitment. Okay, so the first one would be consider your lifestyle or your budget. Kailangan mo talagang tignan kung kakayanin ba ng budget mo. Like with me, yung property na isang binili ko, it took me 72 hours. I've made super habang computations and calculations if am I willing to give up yung a certain percentage na pwede ko pang ipang shopping. Shopping talaga yung main problem ko eh. So, na pwede ka pang ipang shopping at ilalagay ko siya sa property kasi medyo malaki yung monthly niya for the first couple of months. So, talagang pinag-isipan ko siya ng mabuti. So, again, guys, you have to consider your budget. You check if the budget that you have, kunyari, magkano yung kaya nyong ilabas this per month. So, you have to check that one kung pasok ba siya dun sa location na gusto mong bilhan or dun sa area na gusto mo magkaroon ng property. So again, your budget is really important when it comes to buying real estate. Hindi ka pwedeng, alam mo yun, basta-basta ka lang na nag-decide, gusto kong bumili ng property, ganyan. Because at the end of the day, there are a lot of factors in our lives. So there's our social gatherings, there's our family, our personal expenses. So we have to consider all of it as well as our savings. No, hindi ka pwedeng basta-basta mag-i-invest lang tas wala kang nakasube for your future. Like for your emergency funds, wala kang ganon. So you have to consider all those things before buying a property. And of course, I think hindi naman to normally dinidiscuss ng mga tao or ng mga real estate agents. But if you buy a property, apart from the monthly amortizations and stuff, when you move in or once the unit is turned over, you have to prepare a sum of money for the move-in fees, taxes and fees. So meron yan, Meralco and electric bills, which in the future, I'll make another video to explain those things further on. Okay, so the next one or the second tip that I could give you is, of course, location. Everyone in real estate, even myself or even my networks, my agents, there's only one thing that we would say. The most important thing, one of the most important thing that you should really consider is the location of the property that you wanted to buy. Again, you have to check which are the developers na mayroong properties doon sa area na yon. Because if there are a lot of properties inside that area, ibig sabihin, maganda talaga yung location ng property na tinitignan nyo. Again, location is a deal breaker. You have to consider ano ba yung maibibigay niya sa inyo. Because there's two things. Of course, accessibility. Time. For me, time is very important. Ayoko na nasa-stuck sa traffic. Guys, hirap na ako ma-stuck sa traffic. Nakakatanda siya. Parang feeling ko tinubuan na ako ng uban, hindi pa ako dumadating. If you live far from where you work. So, accessibility and time is very important when you look for a property or when you look for a certain location of that property. Okay, so the third one, commitment. Guys, again, kanina ko pa ito paulit-ulit sinasabi, commitment is very important. Hindi lang sa relasyon hindi lang sa relasyon kailangan commitment. Kailangan sa real estate investment din. So, kailangan you are committed. Again, that's why it took me 72 hours to decide if I wanted to purchase that property, even though I have been eyeing it for years. Because I wanted to know if I can commit myself into giving up my luho for quite some time in order to buy that property. And mind you guys, it wasn't easy. So I had to really consider, I had to make computations and everything else before deciding. So hindi lang tayo parang wag tayong maging marupok guys ha. Wag tayong maging marupok. Kailangan pag-isipan natin mabuti. It's a long-term commitment. So you have to make plans. Kailangan alamin mo ano ba talaga yung gusto mo sa property to. Gusto mo ba to for your personal use? Or you wanted this property in the future, paparentahan mo siya so that you could have a passive income in the future. So you have to think about those things. The fourth one is, of course, keep yourself updated. So again, you have to look around, with regarding about ano-ano ba yung mga naka-promos ngayon, ano-ano ba yung mga properties in this particular location that you want that has discounts, that are offering discounts. Ano ba yung mga payment terms ng mga developers na meron doon. And I'm speaking not only in my company, but of course, in different companies. There are a lot of developers now in the Philippines, and I would say that they are also good. Ay, medyo biased tayo dyan. But I'm trying not to be biased. I'm trying to give you a general idea of how is it when it comes to real estate investment. Of course, the fourth one would be know who the developer is. Knowing who the developer is very important kasi you have to know the background of the company, where you are buying the property, how are they handling clients' complaints, yung mga issues, if for example nasira yung property mo during the construction or upon the turnover of the unit, you have to research, you have to check the reputation of the developer first before jumping in. Kasi majority, especially sa abroad, ako na-experience ko to, may mga nakakausap ako na ganito, may na-meet silang ahente, nabentahan sila from another developer or whichever developer. It turns out, ang dami-daming pinangako sa kanila, pagdating nila dito sa Philippines, hindi naman pala. So again, due diligence is really important when it comes to buying properties. Again guys, mind you, properties are worth millions. Even though I keep on saying that the terms of payment are flexible right now, monthly mo lang siyang hinuhulog-hulugan, still at the end of the day, if you compute how much you have paid for the property, medyo malaki din yun. So you have to you have to do your research. You have to do your homework. And that's also for you guys. So that's it for today's video, guys. Again, this is KS Untalan, your real estate ate. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and the notification button for more videos. Thank you!